So Jake Nichols, you're supposed to be retiring, but we find you back racing arena cross, and last night you had a pretty spectacular ending to the whole thing. But are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I was enjoying it. I didn't really enjoy crashing, but yeah, it's part and parcel of it. And it's a bit of a learning curve. 32 years old, first arena cross. It was straight at the deep end, but no, it's good. It's good to be having a little play with the boys and a bit of a failed retiree, if you like, but just having a bit of fun and trying to get on board with the series. It's good that it's started up again, and hopefully try and between us all set a trend for the British riders to try and get amongst it. And I feel like it was a massive part of my career that we missed, doing the Supercross. So I wish I was young and could do it now again. So yeah, just having a bit of fun and trying to get in the mix.
What's the biggest difference you noticed from outdoors that you've last night, even to intensity, or just
intensity and I ride a lot on raids. You know what I mean? I've always been quite a hot-headed racer. I get into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to really control that in this game.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And when I say hot-headed, I don't mean I want to kill everyone, but I get into it, and you have to really control it in that sort of environment because it's so small. And a 450 feels like a big bike around. But now it's good. Yeah, it's just very much like if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going backwards. I got pushed off the track twice yesterday, and I thought I was doing alright, cruising along, and then next minute it's like, and when you go off the track, you're done. So yeah, it's entertaining.
Looking back at your career, you worked your way up through the GP levels into a podium sort of caliber guy in your best MX2 seasons. How difficult was that to do? Can you give people an idea of how much work and everything you have to put in? Because you've obviously talent, but you need a lot more to get to the level you got to.
Yeah, most definitely. I was probably a long way behind most people when I was 14 or 15. I'd grown up with Tommy, but had a lot of setbacks, and so it was always chipping away at it. But it was a long old road really. I was sort of at the point where I almost wasn't good enough to do it for a bit, but just kept plugging away at it, and a lot of passion, real passion and determination, and went alright in the end. But long curved, you know what I mean? But you've got to understand, I was doing GPs or trying to do them when I was 16, so I was young, and qualifying every week pretty much when I was 17. And then it rolled on from there. And when I was 14, I wasn't even doing the Schoolboy British Championship because I'd had so many injuries and was sort of struggling. So it's funny looking back, and I'd have done a few things differently. And one of them would have been to try and get involved with this sort of stuff at a younger age, because I feel like that helps the intensity a lot. I've always had no intensity on a qualifying lap, useless at it. Still to this day, I'm useless at it. And that would have helped a lot, I think, doing stuff like this. So,
And how did it feel to get your first podium? It must have been amazing.
Oh God, yeah, it was so good. I remember it so clearly because I just at times never thought I'd get that. And the year before, I think I had 8 fourth overalls. The year before, I missed the podium by a point 4 times or something stupid, and I was just like, it's never going to happen. So. That was good. There was good times. It's scary how long ago it is now, and I don't really feel that much different really. But life's changed, and but still enjoy riding the bikes and still enjoy having a race and a tear up. So
whenever you went to the 450 class, that class is ridiculous. You could ride really good and just about get points.
Yeah.
How frustrating is that when you're on that level and people maybe don't realise that you're still riding good, but you've got a 17th or 15th?
Yeah, I never cracked the 450. I still say to this day I never really cracked it. I'm much more of a 250 rider, and it's just a different style of riding, and I just didn't have that. You have to be a bit smoother and almost take your time. And like I said, I've always rode on a bit of rage, and it just never really suited it. I had a few good times on a 450, where I kind of got the hang of it, but I feel like I was really susceptible to bike setup, and if I didn't get it bang on, I wasn't that great. Do you know what I mean? And cost me spent a lot of energy racing a 450 a lot of the time, racing it incorrectly. So I think in hindsight, if the age rule wasn't there, it could be a different life to where I am now. But plenty of people could say that as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. But I enjoy riding a 250 a lot more, I'll be honest. But 14 stone in an arena cross, I had to swallow my pride a bit and go, I think I need the 450.
one of the most impressive things about you is your ability to keep coming back after injuries. You alluded to it earlier. I know you had a British Championship pretty much won, and you got hurt again.
Yeah.
How difficult was that for you mentally? Because you'd come through so many injuries previous to that to get to that goal, and then it got taken away from you.
Yeah, that's tough. You know, it's carved a character out of me over the years. That's for sure. Like I said, I was always on the back foot when I was younger because I wasn't ever quite as good as some of the top lads. So I always perhaps had to work a bit harder than them. It's not to say that they didn't work hard, but I always had to chip away perhaps a little bit more. And I had a lot of injuries when I was younger, and then had a bit of a break. And yeah, had a few bad ones. So yeah, it's been tough, to be honest, mentally as well as physically. And I'm fortunate nowadays that I don't suffer from them too much, but it definitely took its toll. But you know, it carves the character you are today, doesn't it? And a bit of a tough old bastard through the ups and the downs. And yeah, a lot of times where I thought, that's it, I'm done, I don't think I can come back. And I think the passion and the enjoyment, and then the deep down determination just comes back. You know, you sort of put your head down, and then next minute you're back in it. So yeah, hard though.
You come from pretty wealthy background, which isn't really normal in motocross, and a lot of people say you need no money to have the drive to make a career in motocross, but you've sort of proved that wrong. Was that ever in your head to prove people wrong, or do you just have that yourself?
No, totally. I've always wanted to do it, and I always had it's all right for you because your dad's got money and he can buy you things. But I think that's why I like motocross so much, because you can be a billionaire, and it doesn't make you good, does it? You know. Like, I could be on the same bike as Geyser and it'll be 10 seconds a lap quicker. Do you know what I mean? It's such a fair sport, and that's why I've always enjoyed it so much. And it was, you know, a good path for me to carve my way and show people that you don't get to fourth in the world with money. You know, don't get me wrong, there's a few little shortcuts here and there. You know, when I was young to get on a team, but everyone had that. It wasn't just me. But unfortunately, in England, your sponsor or your parents had to pay rather than the federation.
Somebody has to do it.
Yeah. The Italians and the French, they all had to pay, but their government paid. Do you know what I mean? So, and still to this day, you know, you know, busy now with the business, but still here in the mix just because I enjoy it, and I think it's a sign that, you know, it's a good fun sport, and can't stay away.
And you're doing a lot of different things, and you do trials, enduro, road bike, short circuit. What do you enjoy? Do you still enjoy the motocross the most, or you know, doing different things now?
Yeah, I try and do different things, and I'm not that great at any of them. So I think that's what's nice when you come back to a motocross bike. It's like, yeah, I'm still quite good at this. Do you know what I mean? And it's easy for me to do it. Whereas a trials bike, I'm useless really. Road bike the same, and it's a lot harder.
Right.
But it's also nice because I get progression. Whereas probably now all I'm doing is getting slightly worse on a motocross bike. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but it's nice to get back on the motocross bike because it's natural. Do you know what I mean? It's so natural. I just try and do as much as I can. You know, so you're a long time dead, aren't you? And we work really hard in the business, and so when I have time, it's on two wheels. I don't really do anything else. Do you know what I mean? And you know, there's plenty of nice things to do, but I choose to do this.
Just on GPs, I know you're not a fan of the organisers, although I think the tracks, although they're more man-made, they've improved the technicality. I feel the GP guys are now technically ahead of Americans, at least outdoors.
Yeah.
But what would you like to see them do different? Obviously, prize money is a huge one to sort of stop all this negativity and create a better series.
You know what? I think it'd be nice that the age rules went. I just think these 450s people, some people like me, are just not. You know, you can't just do it. So it would be nice if that went like the Americans now, how they've done now. They've changed their rules. So that you can stay on unless you win the title. That would be nice, and also stop trying to make it like a MotoGP. You know, like it's like they only want 20 people there, but they're all in teams. And you know, your man in a van is not welcome. But that's not motocross. Do you know what I mean? Motocross is 40 people. You know, the top man's getting paid millions in his big truck, and then the man in 30th is in a van. You know, that's how it was. Not so long ago. It's not. I'm not talking 20 years ago. It was 10 years ago. There was people turning up. So they need to get rid of. I think they need to get rid of that, and obviously that comes with cost. You know, driving the cost, driving these races. in these countries, you know, perhaps have that as the elite series, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just silly to go to those places. And do you know what? It's not nice to go to them either.
Are you,
When you're a rider,
I always
it's not
think, are you
nice.
afraid of getting hurt in somewhere like
Yeah.
Indonesia and stuff because
You're-
of the language and hospitals?
Yeah,
And
you know, we're lucky. You know, everyone moans about the NHS, and I appreciate it's not great at the minute. But these hospitals and these places, you know, you don't want to be in them, and it's not fun. You know, you stay in crap places, and it's really not the way it looks. So I think it'd be nice to see you come away from that, and it would be nice to just go to some old school tracks just to
like
see
Castor
it.
or
You know
somewhere
what
is
I mean?
really
Yeah,
nice.
just places like that, and I wouldn't have stopped if those places were still
Right, okay.
there. Do you know what I mean? But I personally don't really enjoy those modern tracks that much. And do you know what? Half of that is probably because I'm not that good at it.
Right.
You don't enjoy things that you're not that good at, do you? Do you know what I mean? And if I was really good on those tracks, I'd probably still enjoy it a little bit. But so yeah, that's probably an honest thing, you know. But it'd be nice to see some natural stuff.
And you rode Red Bull at the MN National a couple of years ago. How did you find that format and racing in America, the pace there?
I love the one-day format because I've always learned the track pretty quick.
Right.
So in qualifying, at 7:30 in the morning, we had one sighting lap, and then it was qualifying.
Shit in.
And my second lap was my fastest time in all of the practice. My first full lap doing the jumps at Red Bull was my fastest lap. So I really enjoyed it. It was hard because the races are only an hour apart.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to eat, and it was hot and stuff. So, but I preferred it to 2 days, to be honest.
And you wouldn't do that now. I know you've planned to race some British outdoor stuff as
Yeah.
well on a 250. No, John to America
Do you know
now.
what? I would love to do it, but I've got to be honest with myself. I don't train really anymore, you know, intense, and you have to give yourself a fair chance. Do you know what I mean? And also time. Like we run our business is like a small big business. Do you know what I mean? So it's labour intensive for my dad and I as well as everyone else. So can't really just disappear for a week. Do you know what I mean? I really wanted to go and do more after that year, but then obviously I broke my leg, and then the year after was COVID, and I really wanted to go and do more because it was such a good experience. But have to take that one now and remember that one. And realistically, I'm probably never going to do it again because I'd probably steer clear of the bigger bikes now on the outdoor
Right.
stuff.
Okay. The last couple of years when you were pro before you semi-retired, you were working as well. How did you find that balance? Was it good to get away from bikes, or was it hard to find the time to keep fit?
It did me good, and I feel like I always overtrained when I was in GPs, and then when I came away from GPs and I worked, I had to narrow it down quite a lot, and it did me good. And it was full time. I wasn't just turning up when I felt like it. Obviously came away to do practicing, but my dad's track is like 1.5 miles away from our work, so I could go in and out. You know, I could go out for 2 hours, do a couple of sessions, and come back, and not really get noticed. So it did me good because I'm a bit of an overthinker. So I always, was overthinking a little bit in my career, and it helped me get away from that. And it brought a lot of enjoyment back. 2018 was really good balance. Never really quite got it back because I think I had a year with my leg, and that year allowed me to get way more deeper into the business, and then I couldn't really get back. You know what I mean? That was it then a little bit. But
That's brilliant, Jack. Thank you very much for
Thanks
your
a
time.
lot.
Thank you.